And now, without further ado, I have the distinguished honor and privilege of presenting to you the Queen of Color, the Mother of Artists, globally acclaimed, award-winning master acrylic artist, and the star of our show, Ginger Cook, as she once again mesmerizes her audience with the daring do's and don'ts of painting with acrylic. Look at the camera. Look at the camera.
What?
Hey, Ginger!
What? Mic is on. Look at the camera. What is this, John? I want a light, a flashing light about 10 seconds before we go on. We're on.
Okay, and what's 10 seconds? And what would you be doing those 10 seconds? You'd forget by the time the show went live, you'd be doing something else.
That's true. Well, nonetheless. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hey, welcome to our fabulous Monday night Let's Paint Some More Flowers show.
What's wrong with flowers?
Not that people seem to like them, so we're just, how many different ways can you paint flowers? Well, we're learning a lot of different ways, and what we're going to learn today is it's all new ways. Some of you have expressed a desire to be able to sell your artwork. And I have to tell you, my mother, my adopted mother, who was also an artist, was very clever with what she painted. It was a little boring to me, but she sold very well. She kept everything in neutrals, because neutrals kind of go in everybody's house. I mean, you get real colorful like I do, and like what we did yesterday with the bright pink background here and the flower, right? I mean, you and I love it, right? But then someone goes, well, I'd buy that, but that pink doesn't go in my house. So, it depends why you're painting and what you're doing it for. Sometimes if you're painting for the market, just somebody, somebody's going to buy it and hang it somewhere, then if the colors aren't fighting with their decor, and if you keep it neutral, they don't. How's that? So that's just one little tip that we're going to give you, and we're also going to have a giveaway at the end of the show. We might do a few little drawing explanations of things you might want to know when you're drawing. A lot of this is based on the artwork that people send me. When people send me artwork, for what? What'd you forget? Nothing. I hear over there cursing in the corner, like, oh, blank, and I'm going, what?
I forgot to get those people's images ready to go up.
Perfect.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
So anyway, don't distract the genius here. I'm on a flow here. So anyway, sometimes, in our art academy, which I'm telling you what, we have so many exciting paintings that come up there all the time. People, well, maybe either from YouTube or from the academy send me something that they're painting, or maybe they made it up, and that they want some help with it. And I see certain trends, and then I try to bring them back to you guys and say, this is a common difficulty people have, when they're a perception of something. So that's part of the basis for how I do these critiques, as far as, trying to figure out what I'm going to share with you as far as drawing ideas and things. So let's talk about our painting. John, would be so kind as to put the camera down on the table for me. And I have all my paints laid out today. I think I can find everything. I don't know where the ruler is, but I don't think we need it. Well, here it is. Okay.
It's right next to you. I can see it.
Good. See, we are already off to a good start. And I got to laugh. Our club is almost, our Facebook club is almost full.
We've got about 100 to go.
And I'll tell you what I loved about it. Somebody asked about, what do you like for gingerisms? And everybody was writing down gingerisms. And it's so funny because I was reading that. You don't always hear yourself. Well, I don't hear myself talk. I guess I could play the video back and see what I said. But, I do have a tendency to repeat a lot of stuff over and over again, because I think if I just say it enough, everybody will get it. Sometimes I feel like I'm at Groundhog Day and we're all just talking about how to do ovals, okay? Because no matter how many times I say it, I feel like somebody didn't quite get the message. But gratifyingly, we're seeing some huge progress. And tonight we're going to show you an example of one of our students who started with us 3 months ago, and had never picked up a paintbrush.
I can bring that one up. That's the first one I loaded.
You look at this. This is so amazing. This lady had never picked up a paintbrush. The apple on the whatever side it would be on, the kind of the crummy looking apple on the right is her first attempt at an apple. Look where she is in 3 months with just the videos, the tutorial, and the personal art coaching. and a little dedication to painting. Now, admittedly, she's retired, so she might have a little more time than someone that's just trying to catch this on weekends. But still, I think it's encouraging because I keep telling you guys it's a skill. It's a learned skill. And if you I can save you years off your paint journey.
Off your what?
Paint journey. Paint journey.
Oh, paint journey.
Years off your paint journey by just learning some of these basic things. I mean, it's amazing how good you can get quickly. Just saying, right? So, all right, we're down on the table. Yes and yes.
Yes and yes.
Yes and yes. So this was yes, it was an old dead artist, but it was a very, very elaborate picture. I just took a small piece of it, and I thought we would just focus on that. So I'm not going to mention the old dead artist because if I had taught the whole thing, it would have been an academy lesson, 4 or 5 hours, and it seemed I could make something fun here. Now this was my first sketch at it, and I'm going to make a few little changes to this as we paint tonight, and I'll explain to you why. I'm going to change a little bit, but not much. And this is what I'm talking about this neutral background. See how this background's kind of brown, and it's got a little bit dark in the corner, and the flowers are sort of all off-white with a little bit of mauve in there for balance, and the green's kind of dark. Green's kind of a neutral color too, by the way. And so this is the kind of thing that can, fit into a lot of decor. And this is one of the reasons I picked it tonight, was to show you. But then someone says, what kind of underpainting would you do? I did a dark brown. Can you see it? I did a dark brown underpainting on this one. But what would happen if you had done a green underpainting with the brown over it, or a red, or even a light green? How does that change your background? Okay, so we're gonna show you that tonight. I think instead of the drawing lesson, I'm going to show you that tonight. All right, so it's actual drawing, because we'll take a little bit of time and show you what would happen if we're still going for our neutral background. But what we're going to do is, what did we say this was? Titanium white, and what was this? Oh yeah, burn umber. He's laughing. Oh yeah, well, what we want right now, just to move all our junk out of the way, is titanium white and burn umber. That's easy, right? So I'm going to show you kind of how this would work. So here's some burn umber. Burn umber is a really dark brown. And do you guys know this trick where you take a little bit of the paint, put it on the back of the tube, so if it's upside down, you kind of remember where everything is if you've turned it over. You can even, if you store your paint in a jar, you can even put a little bit right on the cap. So it's standing up, you can kind of find it. I have such trouble finding things. I devise all these little tricks. I need all the help I can get.
And it still doesn't help, though.
Well, but you don't know how it would have been. You just see how it is now, but it could be worse. It's hard to imagine, but it could be worse.
Oh, I can't even begin to imagine that.
So, all right, so we're just basically going to use these colors, white and brown, and we could be the last of, well, I don't want to keep saying the last of the big spenders, but we could be the last of the big spenders and maybe use a little ultramarine blue too, shall we? Just see what happens.
Let's go crazy.
Let's go crazy. And then what would happen if we added purple? Oh, no. Yeah, well, I don't know. We will, but let's have it, right? So, all right. So these are our artistic thoughts for the day. And maybe yellow oxide. That's interesting. All right, you're going, yeah, I thought you said brown and white. Well,
yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, I lied. I got inspired, okay? So, to me, this is okay, this background. This is kind of the background he had with this dark corner. And I've diligently followed it, and I'm going, yawn. Yawn, boring. Okay, remember Simon Cowell used to say, I'm bored listening to that person sing. I never really understood it, but then I sort of got it at one point. After you watch enough of those shows, you really want to kind of be wowed. All right, so we've got a brush. This is a round brush we should use. You could use a round brush like that. You could use a fairly stiff, maybe a brush like this. That would work well. You could use that. Let's see. What else could you use? You can't use a real soft brush. See this brush like this? That's too soft. That wouldn't work. Okay. So somebody says I can't get the background like yours. Well, yeah.
Your brush has a lot to do with it.
Your brush, how stiff the brush is has a lot to do with it. So, for all practical purposes, we'll try a brush like this. It could be a burnt, it could be a bright brush too, not rounded. So we're going to start with a little white and a little burnt umber like that.
Just like you said.
And just like I said, I'm just going to show you what I'm doing. See, I'm holding the brush like this.
Now
finger
this is
right
a
there.
Bristol-on brush, so it's a stiffer brush.
Stiffer brush. And I'm just making little circles like that. Like this.
Scrubbing pretty hard because I can hear
No, I'm
it.
barely touching it, actually.
Oh, really?
Really, barely touching. It's going over this this green, and as I get more paint, I want to not have it all the same color. I don't want to mix it that well. See how I'm changing colors with this background? So it's just really white and brown. And I always work the wet edges. This is the secret. You don't start here and then jump over here and then jump over here. Try to work your wet edges. If you can do this with lots of different colors, okay? But this is basically, now let's try a little bit of ultramarine blue in that, because that will kind of tone this brown down. Look, it kind of grays it. See what the ultramarine blue does? It will gray this brown a little bit. Well, you wouldn't be surprised that it does that, but it kind of does. So a little ultramarine blue, a little bit of brown, a little bit of white on this side. There we go. Let's just start over here. Now see how much darker that is? Look at that. So what you don't want is a line like that, right? So we're gonna do this. And all right, now the thing about it is you don't really particularly notice that I've got a green background, do you? Particularly, I mean, some of it may be showing through, okay? But not much. It still is still very similar to this. And it hasn't dried that. It'll dry flatter. Someone was saying that today on Facebook. That we get a lot of questions on Facebook. That what's fun is you get a lot of different answers from people. Someone will say, has anybody tried such and such a brand of paint? Or does anybody know why my painting looks really good in the light and then I take it out? And that came up, remember? And then I get it down in the living room to look at it, and it doesn't look as good as it did when I had it in the studio. Well, one thing, I didn't realize this for years, but one thing is that they make something called daylight bulbs, and they sell them they're a little different even than the ones you buy at Home Depot. They're really art bulbs, and they're expensive. Like somebody's got a half-off coupon, that's what you want to use on those suckers. I rarely ever see those go on sale. And they're designed to give you pure, real daylight reflection on your paintings, which is, the best light. So those can be very helpful. All right, we're going to get a little darker here, a little bit down here in this corner. Just going to show you how we're going to do that. See, I'm using the side of my brush. I don't have a line. So anyway, those are good things to have, these daylight bulbs. This is ultramarine blue and burnt umber now. Barely touching it, working that way into the bottom of this picture. It's a nice background, and these are very good. This is a good background for all kinds of still lifes. It's good to know how to do this, right? So anyway, if you haven't tried a daylight bulb, and the other thing is that when acrylics are wet, they look a little shiny and they dry a little dull. So your varnish will bring it back out. And when I'm talking about varnish, I'm talking about something like not a spray. A spray varnish really won't do that. The Liquitex medium in varnish really brings your colors out. It's an acrylic polymer resin, and it makes them look wet again. It's really pretty, though you get a bit of a glare. So if you're, oh, look here, see a little bit of this green that's shining through there? Kind of zoom in on that. Isn't that pretty?
I'd
see what the green, that's pretty. I would leave that. All right, so that's what that looked over.
Green.
Green, okay? That was this green here in case anybody wanted to know, right? Now, let's try it over red. See, and it's so fun. We're all chatting and we're just painting backgrounds. And this is kind of a red-pink background. I hate to cover it up, but there it is. So we're going to do that over red. We're doing the same thing. Little circles, and we keep moving, holding the brush kind of flat. Here's
really
some
looks like
dark.
the red's showing through more.
Well, it might. It might. And it's going to warm this up a little bit. Here's a little bit of white with it. Then I'm going to blend that in like that. It doesn't all have to be the same. It can be, you can get a little creative with this. I haven't tried any purple yet. I don't know that I'd use it with this. Haven't decided, but here you go. Here's a little bit of the blue-brown color. A little bit of our white color. I think we were kind of out of white color here. You can mix right on the canvas. Okay, now what happens here? All right, you did this. Now what are you going to do? Well, what you can do is you can wipe the brush off. Got too much paint on it, right? Then take this edge very gently. Just think of mist and smoke and just mist that out. See? These are great backgrounds for your pictures. They're very neutral. So if you were thinking about that, somebody wanted neutral, this is a good way to do neutral. Yet the red adds a little bit of excitement to it, doesn't it? See a little bit of this red coming through, and which is pretty. but we're still into the neutral part of this. Now, some people, because we're using red, might be tempted to use like burnt sienna or something with this, and I guess you could, but I'm trying to keep it more into the kind of feeling of gray, kind of just sort of soft brown. And you've got a little bit of red glow to it because of that. Now, if we add a little yellow to this, let me show you what that would look like. Look what happens when we add a little yellow. See, we've sort of warmed it up a bit in a very interesting way, didn't we? And that's that little yellow oxide color. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more here like this, a little bit darker. Now I've changed the whole feeling of the background, but you know, we're talking about putting flowers. Now I'm going to add a little purple over here and brown. I'm going to show you that. Now I want it darker over here. Now look what happens as we keep working, because I do want it very dark over here. Okay, barely touch it up here while it's wet. Here you go, like that. And I'll get a little bit more purple and brown. Come over this way and say I want this corner really dark. Maybe I'll put a little tiny bit of white with it right here. Now, what's that going to do? Ooh, that's pretty. I would put some classical music on and just sort of play. Now, what you want to do is stay out of this now, because you'll dig holes. So if you feel like you need to do something else, you've got to dry the background. This is where people run into trouble, is that they'll they keep trying to go over it. Are we buffering?
Big time.
Big time.
We lost the feed.
Oh, not good. How many people did we have before we lost SL Fido?
500.
Oh, gosh. Can you get it back?
Don't know yet.
Okay.
He still thinks it's good. It's not good.
Keep painting with this, right?
All right, we're back. And we're back here for these important messages.
All right, so here we go. Now, see a little bit of this. Do you see how we've got a little bit of this purpley blue color down here at the bottom? We've got some beige, kind of pretty, you know, some
I kind of like that with that red. That little red still
the little bit of red still showing through.
That makes a really interesting background.
It does. And so somebody says, well, what color is the underpainting? You know, you might just do some tests sometime at home. Take some little tiny canvases about this big and, you know, see what certain colors look like on top of another. Okay, so that I think we'll probably end up using this one. It's got a little hole there, and I probably should dry this, but here we go like that. I'm just all right, there we go. There's that one. Now here's dark green.
I'd be surprised if that even shows through.
So let's just see. Let's see if the dark green. So here's a little brown and white, right? Here we go, a little bit of brown and white. Okay, we're going to turn that over just like that. Now, I'm tempted. That's more of a beige. You know, it's got more of the beige look to it. Here's a little bit more of the brown. This is just burnt umber. Okay, it's a nice staple color. Burnt umber is a number as a 1 as far as how expensive colors go. It's at least one of the least expensive colors. It's like and it's kind of a. What's the difference between burnt umber and raw umber? Raw umber is a translucent color, like cellophane, and burnt umber is like a door. You can't see through it. Okay. Yeah. This is what we mean by opaque, and you can't see through it. Now, I think because I've got all this green, I'm tempted to put a little yellow in this and see what that does.
Hey, we'd like to thank Carolyn for the donation today.
Oh, thank you very much. And listen, we appreciate it very much, you guys. We love the fact that we have so many nice people showing up for this live show. We thank you very much. We appreciate that. I'm getting a little purple over here now, adding a darker color.
Hey, Sue would like to know, is it okay to use the craft paints for the underlayers?
You know, I don't know what kind of craft paint she means, so I'd like to be more helpful, but I don't know what brand of paint you're using. For instance, the kind of paint we used to use at painting parties. See, that's a little too purple. See, so put a little brown with that, maybe a little yellow. Yellow, gray is purple. You guys remember that, right? And I'm just going to come up here and do this. Because of the way they painted, they don't paint over very easily. I threw all mine out. I was going to use them for underpaintings. I didn't find them. I just didn't like them so much for that because I want the paint to grip. better. But you know, you can use like basics, Liquitex Basics as
Yeah, you
underpainting
can
colors.
use the actual real life student grade paints.
Student grade paints you can use, sure. All right, now you see we've got a different feel to it, don't we? Here, I mean, don't you see that? Here's a bit of a little yellow and the brown over here, remember, because we started with that. Now, this is our green
You think the green's showing
background.
through much?
The green really isn't showing through very much. The green isn't doing much. The green might as well have been a dark brown background.
Yeah.
It's a, you know, what's changing is my underpainting color. So,
so the red, if you really wanted to have a little extra oomph in there, the red was a good choice.
Yeah, the red wasn't bad. Now, if you get too much paint like that, just take it off the brush. Work your sides in like this. Just always work your edges in. And because you get, this is just, you got to kind of get the feel of how much paint you want on this to make this work. I know I wanted something pretty dark down here in the corner. I'm going to take a little blue and purple and maybe put a little of that yellow with it and make almost a dark green color. Here we go. And I want this dark down in here.
Hey, we'd like to thank Deborah for the donation.
Thank you, Deborah. This is very nice. We appreciate this very much.
The tongue is tied tonight.
Wow, we just really thank you very much for that. That's really nice. You don't know, you guys heard, but John sort of, not sort of, he's going, gonna get, there's no sort of, it's like he's sort of pregnant. John's getting.
Oh, let's start that rumor. Okay, yeah, John's pregnant. Here
I'm not pregnant. John's not pregnant, but he is going to get surgery on
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th, which is ominous, but apparently it's, anyway, that's the day they pick, so we're there, okay? All right, so there's this one. You see, that's sort of a different one. Let's just look at these for a minute. Let me just put the brush in water.
That's an interesting background.
Here's this one with the red. This was the green.
I got to turn off the palette. Hold on a second.
Can you guys see that? Just see.
Yeah, there we go.
See the red. See almost this bit of red glowing through.
I like that.
Here
red.
was just brown over brown. Not anywhere near as interesting, is it?
No. No, I like
mean,
having
just saying, brown. You know, brown over brown was anywhere near as interesting. Here was brown over kind of a light blue, kind of a teal color.
And that's really different too.
And that's different too. I mean, again, it depends on the colors you're using and stuff and what you're putting. But again, we're talking about neutral backgrounds. So much just depends on what you paint over. And if someone says, well, why can't I just paint over something white? And do you have a white canvas? I can show them that real quick.
Of course I do. We had another donation come in from Fedor. I always do that one wrong. Canadian buddy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right. So the reason you don't want to go without a underpainting, and the reason you really don't want to do that is because you're not going to get the coverage. Just here's a plain canvas, and I'm not going to do the whole canvas. I'm just going to show you a little bit of it to see what happens. He has to open up a brand new package of canvases just for you guys.
Just for you. This is what I go through.
Now, one of the complaints that I've had from people is they say, well, my brushes wear out too fast. If you're not sanding your canvases before you start, you're going to wear out your brushes like crazy because they're rough, okay? They come from the factory. They've, that gesso's been put on there and they're rough. All right, so see this? So here's just a white canvas. And let's just take some brown and white like this and just come up like this. And
boring.
See? There it is. It's supposed to
bring that red one over.
Let's bring the red one over. See?
Look at that. I don't know.
And even if I just did some darker colors with it, it's not, you're still going to have to dry it and it's not going to be as effective. So could you do it in a pinch? Yeah, I suppose. But what's going to show through is the little bits of white you didn't cover. Yeah. When this dries, it's going to kind of shrink a little bit, and you're going to see the white canvas underneath, and it's not going to look real painted. So
the sandpapers are 320 or above. It's really fine.
Yeah, I learned that years ago. You know, Cinnamon was when Cinnamon went to college. When she went to junior college, she wasn't going to get her art class because they didn't have enough people. And I went up and took the class with her, and I got two of my friends so that they didn't drop her art class. Just how's that dedication for a mom, right? And that was the one. You know, you can always learn stuff from other artists. Everybody's got good tricks, and that was the one thing I didn't know was that the reason you sand your canvas is it wears out your brushes. Thought that was really good. So. All right, so this is the one I'm going to use. I think I like this one. I want it dark down here. kind of lighter up here. Let's see, what do you got? A little palette, and I kind of almost have to clean up this. Got to clean up this mess here on my palette because I don't have any. Here, let's just do that so I can put the rest of the colors out. There, it's not bad, right? There, we sort of scraped all that up. Some people like glass. They'll use a sheet of glass with that, the edges have been sanded, and then they'll put it over something like white or gray, and then they'll just scrape off when they're done. I don't have patience for that. Someone asked me what this is. These are just disposable wax palettes of wax paper. I've been using something like that for years. We had yellow oxide. We're going to put out cad yellow medium. We're going to put out a little more ultramarine blue. See, we didn't open that.
I opened what? I opened up the...
Well, the yellow's not open, but I'm going to poke it with my
With
hand.
what? What are you doing?
Do you want to open it?
Not the way you're doing it.
Sorry, he's grabbing it. What? Just feel like a little kid.
Using?
A pen? Hear the sigh in the background. Just wow. You'd think I'd sold the dog. I don't have a dog, but you'd think I'd sold one, right? Or maybe brought one home. Okay, so phthalo blue. That's the green shade for those of you who, someone wrote today and said, I couldn't figure out why I wasn't getting the good colors. And then I realized that I had the wrong green. The phthalo, it's not red shade, it's phthalo blue green shade. Only Liquitex does that. Everybody else sort of has it down here. Thank you very much. Thank you. Lids over there. See, look at it. He even knows where the lids are. Whatever happened with our experiment with the electric tape or whatever that was on this?
That failed miserably after you tried to use it a couple of times because you don't put them back on nicely.
Okay, so, well, there you go. It failed miserably. But it was a good thought, wasn't it?
It was an excellent thought, but no.
Cad red
Not the way you use
medium.
it.
Let's see. We said that was burn umber over there. I remember. We all talked about it, right?
Gloria would like to know, why do they use gesso then if you have to sand it off? You're not sanding it off.
Well, because listen, you guys, what are you painting on? This is fabric. Hello, it's sailcloth. You use gesso because otherwise your paint would just bleed right through the canvas. So you have to, gesso is your plastic barrier between that and your fabric. You ever spilled coffee on your shirt, on a shirt, and it went right through, and if you had something on underneath it, like a brassiere or something, or a t-shirt underneath it, it went stained that too? Yeah, no, you have to have gesso on the canvas, you guys. That's just how it's done. And there's qualities, and the cheaper the canvas, the crummier the gesso too, because they're not I'm going to tell you, they're not really there's lots of different ways to make gesso too. It's like anything else. So,
hey, hello from Indonesia and back at you. Hello. I wonder what time it is there.
Wow, what time is it in Indonesia? Okay, so, all right, so we've got this, and you can kind of see this is what we're painting. And I want you to see, it's sort of, we've got a picture pattern kind of at an angle here. So what I want to just say is I've got kind of up here, down from here, I've got sort of a kind of an oval flower here, kind of an oval, and then I've got one kind of going this way, a little more round. Then I've got another kind of a half one here, like that, like an eye shape. And then I've got a little one over, some little ones here, and then we've got a little string of little flowers going this way. Some more up here, and then we got something up there. And you're going, what? And then we got some more over here. Boop, boop, boop. All right, so that's basically our pattern, okay? So then you're going, what we're going to do this, we're following up on the brushstrokes of the painting we did last night. Sometimes it doesn't hurt it doesn't hurt to repeat stuff. Remember how we did last night, or yesterday afternoon, how we did these little individual brushstrokes to make this flower. Remember that? Doop, doop, doop. We're going to do that with this too. So I'm going to take, well, first off, we're going to take a small brush and we're going to put in some of the, do I need to put some dark green in here too? I need to darken it. I think we're okay. We're going to just go with this and then we'll, all right, so I'm going to take some white paint like this, a little brush. This is a 1/4 inch, okay? And I'm going to add a tiny bit of ultramarine blue to that white and a little bit of burnt umber, and I've got this sort of gray color. Now I'm going to add more white to that, so I have sort of this off-white color. It's not totally white. This is totally white, and that's this color. So can you see how that's kind of grayed? You see that? So now I'm going to just come up here like this, using this little brush, and I'm just going to do 1, then turn it around 2, and then kind of almost like a windmill pattern. And just a little thing of scooping up a little bit of paint, make a little flower like that. Okay, that's just 1, 2, 3, 4, one brush stroke, and then I'm going to say that I've got another one. I'm going to add a little tiny bit of phthalo blue to that now, just a teeniest bit. I'm going to come under here and go 1, 2. Maybe you're just going to say there's one under here, and I've got one here too that's kind of coming this way. So it's just, if you can do it in 1 or 2 brush strokes, that's this little clump of flowers. And then if we want to, we can take a little white, and if I want to say that this flower is, say, in front of this one, then I might say it's overlapping that one a little bit, something like that. So that's a little X. Now, all right, so you're going, okay, so that worked. And then we've got some down in here. We're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to just start with one here. One. I'm going to make a few more petals on this one, and try to get paint each time, about every second leaf. Try to get more paint. That's the secret. Kind of tint this back a little bit with the blue. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe do 5 on that one. Okay. Let's do one up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kind of twist the brush around. It's just a start. Okay. Let's do one here. Let's see. I think one right here. 1, 2, 3. We're not going to see that part of that one. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that's good enough. Well, let's do 5. All right. Now a little more paint. Okay. Keeping going here. I'm going to have a little one right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's make that one a little smaller. Sometimes you can just almost doodle these in. You know, they don't, you don't have to get too crazy with me on this. Okay. There we go. There's some there. That's pretty.
Hey, we'd like to thank Acrylics by Elizabeth and Rick's Auto Supply and Essential Touch for their donations through the PayPal system.
Oh, thanks very much, you guys. That is so kind. You can't tell you how much we appreciate it. We really do. So, all right, so I'm over here. I know I've got that big flower here. I think I want to tuck one under here like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And don't be afraid to spin your, if you're having trouble, just if you only can go in one direction with the flower, that's okay. Then just spin your canvas around. Turn it around. Don't be afraid. Just a left-handed person is going to do it slightly differently. You know, it just all depends. Okay. So let's add a little bit of white to this, and I'm going to add a little bit of burnt umber, kind of gray this down a little bit. I think I might come under here with another one and just suggest there might be another little flower tucked under here. And maybe over in this direction, I'm going to have a little darker one over here. It's kind of tucked back over there. Okay. And where else could I put some? Well, I know we're going to have some in this area, but our other flower is kind of going to over it. Well, let's put one right here. This is good. Let's just stick a little small one of these dark ones over here for now. Okay.
Why does Ginger have tape flags on the ends of her brushes?
Oh, I tape the ones I like, and then when they're not good anymore, I untape them. I tape my best ones. Isn't that a good idea? You're looking around for all the brushes. Oh yeah, I like this one. I'm taping this one. Good idea, isn't it? Good question. Wow, that was such a good question, and that's so observant. John, I think that was the question of the night.
Whoa, question of the night from Luann.
All right.
What's Luann get for the question of the night?
Luann, you have either won 1 week of lessons at on our Art Academy Video Lesson Library, or a free downloadable lesson that you can download forever, and you just have to contact us and tell us what you'd prefer. And how would she decide if she wanted a downloadable lesson, John? Where would she go?
GingerCookOnDemand.com.
And you might look at the downloadable lessons. The reason those are kind of fun is because you own them, and
you can put them on.
You can put them on if you're traveling. You've got the lesson on your computer. You don't have to have internet to watch them.
There
You know,
you
you
go.
have to have internet to download them, obviously, but at one point, then they're yours, okay? All right, so that's, though you can also watch them on the computer too. All right, so those are those 3 flowers. That's pretty good, right? Now, we haven't done everything to them. Let's do a few with the magenta. Let's take a little bit of white and some magenta now.
Nice
Okay,
pink.
that's a magenta color here. A little bit of white magenta and maybe a little bit of this yellow oxide with it. Now I want to come up here and do a couple here too. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do a little bit of brown with that too. Just gray that out a little bit. They're a little bright for our neutral, for our plans for a neutral flower. So let's see. I've got one here too. I think I'm going to just make this one go this way. There you go. Flower. And then I'm going to have one coming up here like this, maybe overlapping there. And let's do another one.
Is this your 1/4 inch or 3/8?
This is the 3/8, this 1/4 inch brush. 3, 4, 5. I'm just sort of setting these in here now. We'll come back and add color to them. And we know we've got a bunch of those over here. So I'm down in this corner now, making those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sometimes it's nice to do a painting. Just doesn't. It's nice to do something that isn't too stressful. Once you get the hang of how to make the flower, then you're not panicked. You're going, I can do this. I saw her and I've got it. Okay. And then maybe over here, let's just put. You want some touching. Okay. And I'm going to add a little bit of white and brown to that mixture. Kind of gray this out a bit.
That's design magenta or the quad?
That's quadrichrome magenta. Okay, but you could use up, I mean, you could use any magenta. I don't think it would really matter. Depending on, your design scheme as far as the colors go. Let's put one over here. Okay. Like that. And we've got one over there like that. And I wanted a couple up over here too. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I needed a couple here. Didn't have them in the other picture, and I thought I followed the other guys pretty closely, and I'm gingerizing this painting at the moment. Okay, seems fair, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. You've done it once, and now you want to do it your way.
Yeah, kind of basically. That's it. I did it that way, and then I want to do one, and I think I want to suggest that there may be a couple of these purple ones over here too, in the corner. These sort of purpley pink ones. Okay, over here too.
Beth would like to know, Ginger being right-handed, why does she keep the palette to her left side of the canvas and reach across it?
For the camera. And so I don't get my hand in the paint. It's how our camera's set up. Normally speaking, what I have, you know what I mean, I would have my water on my right-hand side just next to my table on a little stool where I just reach down to it. I'm reaching back now. And I'd have my palette here. But just for the sense of for the camera, I have made the sacrifice for you guys, right? Made the sacrifice.
Okay. The bottom line is, if it was on the right side, her hand would be in the paint all the time, and she'd have paint everywhere. But let's just call it what it is. Come on, Ginger.
Well, sure.
I mean, let's not beat around the bush here.
All right, so we've got this in here now. While we're waiting for that kind of to dry, let's take ultramarine blue and a little bit of yellow and cad yellow medium, okay? And we've got this sort of kind of green, and that's not bright enough. That's too light. So here's the deal, rather than try to make that darker, just go to the edge of this color and add more blue. Don't try to go in the middle like you're making cookies. Okay, now I've got the nice dark green. Now I'm going to wipe it off because I used the brush as a palette knife, right? Now I'm going to just come up here like this. And I want to say that I've got some dark green little leaves coming out of here where this flower is going to be. I'm going to just put some dark green underneath it. I'm going to just sit there and suggest I'm going to have some leaves here like that. Okay, and then this whole area in here around these flowers is pretty much going to be dark green. Okay, so I'm just going to, add some dark green here in this area, and I'm going to come in here like that. This will be a white flower, but I want sort of dark green in this area, and the same thing in here like that. I want some dark. Let me move this out of the way. At the bottom of the canvas, coming out this way, And I can always add some more, but I want them coming down this way, and probably could have used a bigger brush for this, but I'm going to just come this way and add some dark into these flowers. And remember, you can take some green. If you didn't do a perfect flower, you can always do a little editing with another color. You remember that, right? So there. Okay. I'm going to do that just a little bit over here like that. Now, let's take a little bit of this lighter green and just dab some of that in there. See that light green we made?
You're not doing any kind of dry brushing at this point, are you?
No, just globbing little bits of paint on, right?
Even the dark green was painting.
Yeah, just paint. We're not dry brushing anything.
No dry brushing.
We're just adding a little bit of the lighter green in this area in a couple places, like that, and you know, making some. I want, you know, I can put another. Here's a little bit of green here, and maybe a little bit of a stem going up in this direction.
Hey, we'd like to thank Michelle for the donation that came in through the PayPal system.
Oh, thank you very much. Somebody says, how does that work with our PayPal system? Is that we really appreciate the fact that YouTube made it possible for you guys to donate on YouTube, but YouTube takes like
30%.
30%. So the PayPal takes like what?
3%.
3%. So how do you do that on the PayPal system? You just find the donation button on our front page of our website. If anybody,
and the girl put in the link. The moderators put the link in.
So we thank you very much for that. You guys are doing that, and this is
I would like
really
to know, does Ginger prefer to paint on a table or an easel?
Well, you know, I generally paint on an easel, but I've been painting on a table.
Again, we're sacrificing.
Again, you know, for the purpose of being able to film this. You know, somebody wrote the other day and says, I want you to teach me how to do a giant painting. Sure. The biggest painting we've got on YouTube right now for you guys is 16 by 20. It's done on my electric easel, which is behind this painting back here. And I show you how to get a small painting like this and make it big. It's those high-heeled shoes. It's blue jeans and high-heel shoes. It's a neat painting. In fact, that painting is one we're offering for sale in our auction, the original to that we're selling in our auction, gingercookauction.com. And anyway, but just so for large paintings, of course, I'm on an easel, but I've got hundreds of easels. I mean, I've got so many easels, you wouldn't believe it. But it's just not practical for us. All right, so now let's take a little bit of white to this color and a little tiny bit of yellow, right? And I didn't have it in the other one, but I'm going to just brighten up a couple things in here like that. I want a little bit more light. I'm telling you what, neutral's one thing, but this got a little dull to me. So I'm just adding a few little light bits like that. Just something. A little bit of life, folks. Yeah, a little bit of life. So already I'm liking it. Aren't you kind of? You know, we haven't done much, but I'm already liking it. Now this is where, you know, glazing and stuff comes in when you're trying to do stuff, where you can really, you know, get carried away with glazing. I think like I say, I can't put in the white flowers till this green dries, and these are a little wet. We could do, you guys know how to make peach? White and yellow, a little bit of cad red medium makes a beautiful peach color, okay? And then if you add a tiny bit of the magenta in it for a little bit of unity, you've got this sort of magenta peach color. And then depending on how much white you put with it, it really does get to be sort of a flesh tone color, okay? So I might just, now this is my second layer, okay, of color on here. Okay, like that. Maybe I'll put this, just 1, 2, like that. And then I'm going to come over here and do these. Maybe redefine this flowers.
That pink is still wet, isn't it?
The pink's slightly wet, but because it's just magenta and white, because I have magenta in here, it's not going to hurt it. Does that make sense? Because I already have magenta. You know, I've added a little of magenta to this color. So this is a little bit brighter. Now a little more magenta here. This is our second layer. 2, 3, 4. Okay. I could even actually add some pure magenta to a couple of these now. This is what you're talking about layering, and you can't keep painting it. You've got to. This is magenta, almost pure, going over this again. Second layer. I'm not trying to be perfect, just kind of dabbing in some colors. And maybe I want to suggest there's a pink flower underneath here too. Okay. So there. All right. So look, didn't that cheer those up?
It's looking great.
I mean, I think so. And sometimes if I have a chance to do something a couple times, I sort of, figure out what I want to do that's going to kind of be cool and what isn't. So on these, like, we could take a little bit of purple and white and a little tiny bit of ultramarine blue, which is more of, okay, like that. Okay, now let's put a little brown with it to tone that back. Little tiny bit of brown. You just tone that back, so sort of a grayed purple. Now, what if we said that there was a little darker shadow color that went under here on those, came down here like that, not covering up the whole thing. I'm just adding a little bit of this color in a couple places.
So can we say it's all about layering?
Yeah, it's all about layering. Yeah, I guess we could say that. Then I'm going to take some white paint and go over the top of those. Does that make sense? While it's still wet. There we go. Then a little bit of white paint, go over the top of it. But you have to pinch it each time, because it's like if you ever mopped a floor, if every once in a while you have to dump the wash water, because otherwise you're just, putting dirty water on top of a floor. You're not cleaning it. So this is why you wipe and get more paint.
Okay. I'd like to thank Dawes Fine Art and Jacqueline for the donations.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it very, very much. Here we go. All right, this is my next little layer of paint. And when you do this, when you have a few layers like that, it's kind of pretty. It just sort of adds a little bit to your picture when you layer it a little. So this needs to dry for a second before we can put in these white flowers, which I think will be very nice. Let me just show you something real quick while we're doing that. People have asked what's coming up in the Academy. I think this, in 2 weeks, we're going to be releasing this. This is one of the old dead guys. And I think I showed you this before. It's going to be in 2 weeks on our Academy. And we talked about maybe adding some chickens down here. It didn't in his picture, but I think it's screaming chickens, isn't it?
Yes. I think it is.
Screaming chickens.
I would have put chickens in it.
I think it needs chickens.
I'm going to count on Sylvia.
And then last week, talking about old dead guys, you guys remember Degas and his ballet dancers. This is what was the release last week. This is our current release. And we made it traceable so you could trace it on. But one of our students freehanded it on and did a tremendous job. Really, I was so impressed with that. And really, do we have that one? Do you have that one? Did I show you that? No.
I don't know. It wasn't in the group you gave me.
It wasn't. Oh, I'll have to show you next week. Well, I'll have to show you hers. She did a really awesome job on that. Again, look at this background, how it's all layered. But now, see this background here? Now, look at this little background here. Do you see a pattern here?
Look very similar.
Looks similar, doesn't it? So you see, and then what about this kind of color up here? Just those are things, these kind of things you use all the time, all right? Once you learn how to do certain things. And for this week, we've got, everybody is familiar with Monet's Poppies, where he had the two women, his daughter and his wife coming down the poppy field. And we do have that lesson on our website, but check this one out. This is one of Monet's. And it's this farm, and this far distant countryside. I really like the depth in this poppy field. I think this is really, really a neat painting. That will be our website release, gingercooklive.gallery. And remember, if you just want to paint this, sign up for a week. We're going to release it probably toward the end of the week. And just when you see it's up, sign up for a week. It's $9.95 for a week. You don't have to join forever if you didn't want to. If you just found a painting you wanted to do, and but on the other hand, you not only have that painting, but anything you can do in a week. We had one lady do about 25 paintings in 1 week. I don't think she slept at all.
No.
She got her $9.95 with for sure. And then this is a painting that's coming up. Again, we keep doing these different paintings for you guys. This one is Gauguin. I think I showed you this last night. And this little river coming through here, this little farm. I love these little European farms, don't you? Isn't this kind of cool? This sort of old world look. This was originally done in 1886 or something, but you probably could wander into France and find a building that looked very much like this today. They don't tear anything down. They just keep everything nice. And we met some people who've been living in a house that their ancestors had at the time of Napoleon. No kidding. So anyway, that's going to be one of our releases on our video lesson library.
Do you want to show the? I think I have the horse queued up next. If you need a little bit more time.
Well, why don't you show the horse? I'm going to dry this, okay?
All right. I'm showing the horse. What am I going to say about it, though?
What horse?
This is the draft horse and the lady.
Oh yeah, this is okay. So we've got another picture John's going to show you. It was done by one of our students, and she took it a little bit farther, added some arches, and had never really. This is another one that's just learning to paint. But I want you to see how beautiful. Why I'm drawing this. How beautiful the highlights are on that horse. What a tremendous job she did on this.
The blending on that horse is phenomenal.
Phenomenal, you guys. It's the kind of stuff you learn, in our academy. So here, fire away, John.
All right. Well, you guys can look at that for a moment. I'll let you know that we've got 100 members left that can join the Facebook group before we close the doors to the general public. That means if you're not a member of our private Facebook group and you want to join, now's the time to do it. Remember to please answer the 3 questions. If you go there, you try to join, it asks you 3 questions. If you don't answer them, the moderators will decline your request and send you a message to say, please answer the 3 questions. So we have 100 people left to go on that, and it'll be closed for everybody except Academy members. New Academy members will be able to join the Facebook group at any time. And as long as they're an active member, they'll be able to stay in. If they drop their membership with the Academy, they will also lose their right in the Facebook group as well. So that's the latest on the Facebook group. We do have an auction running right now at gingercookauction.com. And the picture will now disappear. All right.
That was cool, wasn't it? I mean, weren't you guys impressed? I'm telling you, that was just really nifty. Any questions before I get carried away with this?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I'm not seeing anything in caps, so I'm going to say no.
All right, so we're going to start with what?
What was the colors Miss Cook used to make that peach color?
Oh, peach is made with white. It's going to be 99% white, a little bit, some yellow, cad red medium, and a tiny bit of magenta.
A little of this, a little of that.
It's here's the rule, you guys. If this painting were, I just lost my towel here. I got to get another one. If this painting were black and white, all right. Do we have one? It's black and white. We do. Okay, so here's black and white. So do you notice that if these flowers are on this side of the grayscale, okay, which all of them seem to be, do they not? On this side of the grayscale?
Seem to be.
Their color is going to be 98 to 99% white and something else. Or yellow. Sometimes it's yellow, but it's either not white or yellow, 99%. But if it falls on this side of the grayscale, which is some of these, then you're going to start with whatever color that is and add lighter into it. Okay? Good to know. So, okay. So now we're talking about some brush strokes that are we're going to say, here's the sort of the center of our flower like this, right? There's the little center of our flower. So now what I want to do is I'm going to shape this brush. Probably mist it a little bit. Now, if it starts to dry out, mist your paint. Now you want to come over from the side of this and lift up. See, I'm starting here and individually adding this. Now, if I'm not, the brush, let me just get a little bit. Sometimes what you can do is you can take a little bit of water and just make a tiny little puddle somewhere, just on your canvas, just like a drop or two of water, like a water droplet, really. Now look what happens when we do this, because you need your paint to flow, and it's really just a flick of the wrist. Everything, if this was a clock, this is 6 o'clock, this is 12 o'clock, all right? And this is 9:03, okay? So everything from about to about 6 o'clock is going this way, but then it's going to change direction and go this way. Okay, you with me? And then these little brushes are going to be shorter. This is going to be shorter coming this way. and then it's going to start curving back around. And this is just the first layer of the petals on that flower. All right.
Got a question for you, boss.
Yeah.
Peggy would like to know, when you blend, is your brush mostly dry and not much paint, or what?
Well,
We're going back to the horse.
We'll have to get back to that because we've got actually a playlist on how to blend. And if you watch the ones on the bananas or the ball on YouTube, we've got some beautiful, really great explanations on how to blend. Okay. All right. So I'm going to say this is the circle. This is the center of this one. And again, I'm going to start this way and say I've got some flowers coming down like this, some petals coming this way, and that they're going to be a little shorter over there. And I'm going to make sure my brush is loaded both sides. Little short brush strokes like this.
We'd like to thank Carol for the donation through the PayPal system.
Oh, thank you so much. Gosh, that is so great, you guys. So kind, and we appreciate it very much. All right, and don't forget, you can overlap at one of these other flowers. This is the time when you can kind of tuck one away here, all right? So we've got one down here like this, okay? And then I know I've got one right here like this. There was one here that's going to kind of come up this way, and we're going to bury a couple of these other little pink ones, and that's okay. Don't panic if you're burying somebody. They won't mind. They won't know.
They're not the stars.
You know, so we're going to just bury some of those and just, because I'm just suggesting those flowers are back there. And I notice I'm getting more paint as I come forward, make this a bigger, so it don't all have to be the same shape. In other words, and think about your shapes, that when you're painting something like this, I'm going to just say that there's this big flower here too. Okay, this is a big flower. And then I have, in this little area, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got some little white ones in here.
Did you have a cloud playlist?
Yes, I have a cloud playlist too.
Look at the playlist for the lessons being broken down on the YouTube channel. Because we have a cloud playlist, we have a blending one, a lot of the basic stuff you need. Somebody just asking for a cloud.
Yeah, we got a cloud playlist too. You could, if you just watched all my YouTube lessons, you would just be amazed what you would learn if you just sat there and just did a little marathon and watched them all. I think you'd be really surprised at what you could come up with. All right, so this one's had a chance to dry. Let's just give it the next layer of paint. This is whiter. Do you see I'm going pure, almost pure titanium? Just lightening this up. This is our next layer of color. I come up here like this, a little shorter, a little thicker brush strokes. A little shorter like that. Maybe a little fatter in a couple places. Okay, we had the skinny ones and now we've got the little fatter areas. Okay. The same thing here. We're going to just come this way, up here like this. This is our next area of, and I'm just going to fill that space in right there. Kind of cool. And the same thing here too. Let's just make this a little wider, a little bit more paint here off from the center, and then just, let's see, here's my little drop of water, and reshape the brush.
Cindy would like to know, what affordable brushes would Miss Ginger recommend for beginner painters?
Your brush is your thing. I mean, what's affordable? I mean, that's such a different thing to everybody else. You can buy one of these little brushes for under $10. One of these little ones like this.
Yeah.
So just take good care of them.
The best thing to do is get the ruby satin silver angle brushes.
And you can save money if you go to thebrushguys.com. These guys used to, they started their own brush company. These two men, they're darling, and they decided if we just sold brushes, we could get a better price for people. So they already have a good price, and they have. You look up the teacher page, you'll see my name, Ginger Cook, on the teacher page, and you'll go to my page, and it has a lot of the brushes that I recommend. And what you do is you just figure out which ones you can afford to put in your cart, and then you use my name, full name, Ginger Cook, all one word, and you get a 5% discount. And they're nice because they'll ship to Canada, they ship to England, they ship to Australia.
They ship anywhere.
I'm going to just bring this over like this. Okay, like that. I've got those three, and then up here, there was a little tiny one up here like this. I think there were some little tiny ones that just kind of came up here like this. There's these little ones like that. Doop-de-doop-doop up here somewhere, and I think He had 3 up here, and I didn't know if I liked 3 up here or not. Maybe I'll just put 1, but then that's 4, so I guess I have to have 5 because you want uneven ones. So, all right, sorry, flower. We're going to do this. Here's these kind of going this way. Kind of lost those. Maybe I'll put them back somewhere else. It's all acrylic paint. It all paints over. Okay, something like that. So we've got these little ones, and then we've got these bigger ones. Okay, like that. So that's kind of our flowers. So now we just have to, color some stuff. This is pretty easy, right? You were just thinking this was going to be so hard. I know you were, and said that, but it's not so far, right? You're all feeling pretty good about it. Okay.
Looking good.
So I might want to take a little bit of yellow oxide and say that's the center of this one. And the same thing here. I think the yellow oxide makes a nice center on these. And then maybe even take a little bit of yellow and green and just have a little bit of green center around the outside of it like that. Just sort of tap on a little bit of this green color. Maybe just on one side here, a little bit of this kind of, how sometimes flowers have 2 different colored centers. Maybe a little green coming out of that, like that. Okay, so that's sort of nice.
Candy would like to know, is there a way to mix the rich magenta?
No.
It's a primary color.
Yeah, it's like red. You really can't make it. And magenta is really artificially made. Did you know that? For instance, a color that's almost impossible to get is Pepto-Bismol pink. You really can't get that really bright iridescent pink. You almost have to buy it too. Certain reds you just have to buy. So we're gonna go with a little bit of white and phthalo blue and put a little tiny bit of brown with that. A little bit more white, a little bit more brown with that. Make this sort of kind of green center. It's going to put a little center in these. See if I like that. No, I guess it has to be green. I had it green in the other one because he did. All right, here's the little green centers. Guess I got to go green. Green centers in these. Going to go back. I feel like putting my little green centers in. And I think I want yellow centers in these other ones. I didn't in this one, but we're going to change it a little bit. I think I like the idea that, no, can't have that. Nope. Is that fun? Don't you love it? Because why can't we have it? Because, let's try a little orange.
It's too bright.
It's too bright. We can do a little bit of, let's see. Can we get away with that?
The old eyeballs went right to that and goes bam.
All right, I guess it's back to the green centers for everybody. Sorry. Okay, a little bit of green centers. Okay, so there's our green centers and our flowers. And actually, I think this is I really quite like this. I think this is really pretty. Now, what we have to do now is sort of play around with the colors a little bit, okay? What we're going to do, what we call in the business, turning on and off the lights, okay? So that's what I want to do, and add a few more layers. So I might want to, you can do this a couple of ways. You can do it with glazing, like a little glazing medium. You can do that, and I'll just show you real quick what that would be. Assuming I can, there you go. Let me just pour some glazing medium out. This is satin glazing medium golden. You can buy it in little tiny bottles like this. And you can also use water, but here's a little bit of dazzling purple and glazing medium, and it's mostly glazing medium with a drop of color. You can come up here like this, and what glazing medium does is sort of tint your flowers back, okay? So that it just sort of tones them down a little bit. And you can do a little water on this too. That'll still work. So I'm doing that in the centers of these little white flowers. Even these ones I put over here. So just a little glazing medium. And again, if you don't have it, just use a little bit of water in this. It certainly works. And also the other color that's kind of good is ultramarine blue and white. Makes a good glazing. Ultramarine blue can be very translucent. So here's a little bit of ultramarine blue with that color too. Flowers back a little bit like that. Layer that in. If you get too much, here's what you can do. If you get too much, you can wipe it off. So don't panic. If it's dry, you can wipe it off, all right? So that's one of the things you kind of want to be able to do is come back and wipe stuff off if you're not happy with it, okay? Now, all right, so I want to pop up a few colors, And a lot of this can be done with a little bit of contrast. So here's pure magenta, and I want to add a little bit darker color in a couple of these flowers. And because we went over something dark, we didn't paint these white first. This is almost my third layer of magenta, and I'm just barely, I'm not trying to paint the whole flower out. I'm just adding just a touch of this darker color. All right. And then I could come back with a little of remember our peach color? Now, this is still wet. If I wanted to say that there's an edge to this, if you wanted to how complicated do you want to make this? If I want to say there's a little light edge, say to this flower, because wherever there's a light, there's a dark, I could come back and maybe lighten an edge somewhere like that and kind of bring those up. So what you're talking about is you're either bringing them up or pushing them back. Okay, and I think I'd like something kind of dark back in here, like that. So I'm just kind of playing with that. Do I want to say that there's another little bit of a red flower here? I could just put a little bit of red and suggest it. And I could almost use a flower right here.
You could almost use a flower there?
Well, I'm thinking I could. I'm just going to think, I'm thinking I could use a flower right here. Right there, a little bit of red one right there. I think that's kind of pretty. And then I have to ask myself, do I like it? And I don't. And here's why, okay? Because I thought I would like a flower there. But what I really like, and somebody says, well, how do you get rid of it? I put a flower there. Now I don't want it. Now what? So here's how you erase. You put a little bit of white water on like this and take as much off as you can with just water and a rag like this, just like mopping a floor, okay? Just like mopping a floor, and just erase what you can, okay? And then what you can do is, you remember how you did your background, right? Put your background back. Just paint that right back. It's easy to do because you remember how you did it, yes? I'm just gonna I want you to just not panic if you think you goofed something up, because you didn't, okay? And look, and I wanted that little spot right there where there was nothing. See that? I wanted that little hole right there because it makes for a nice design. I think what I'd rather have is some brighter green. I think I'd rather have some brighter green in here on these flowers, okay? And maybe a little bit of a bright green here, in here. Kind of bring your eye in toward the center. Just a dab of bright green color right there, which I kind of like. And then this flower here there's not enough contrast on this. So if I were to just glaze him back.
Just needs a little bit more love.
Yeah, see, we're just gonna, what could I put? So him back. So then, and almost put a little of that blue with it too. You can glaze different colors, right? There you go. So I'm going to say that there's that flower there. There's a little blue on this one. So now I've got, I think, a pretty nice pattern of flowers, okay? So this is all you're doing, is you're just kind of making different patterns. So you're kind of tricking your eye to go around. Now, this flower here is still wet, okay? See that? See that little bit still wet. So I have to be very careful because you can't glaze over wet white. But if I wanted to say that this part of the flower is in shadow, I might just do that on this side. You see that? Say on this side of the flower there, just do something like that with a little glazing medium. Tone that one back, right like that.
Dee would like to know, does Ginger consider ultramarine blue a warm or cool?
I think it's a cool color. It's in the blues. It's a cool color. It's considered cool. It's more in the, it's kind of more in the purple tones like that too.
Yeah. Right,
here's a little purple. And so if I wanted to glaze something back, if you get too much, because remember, it has to be done over dry paint. If the paint's wet, none of this works. So if I want a little bit of a darker bit over here like this, just like that.
Linda's asking, I know you mentioned in other videos, but why do we need an odd number of flowers? I just don't remember.
You just need, it's a rule. It's like some sort of design rule that we all learned, and they came back to Socrates. I don't know. It goes back a long ways. It's like the golden mean. It's 3, 5, 9. It's in nature.
It's a nature thing.
It's a nature thing. I don't know. If you looked it up, they'd tell you it's like a golden mean. And they've got reasons. And you just have to know that that's what you got to do. I don't know that you actually have to know why, but if you did want to know why, here, let's make a little bit of a lighter green here. I want to just lighten up some greens somewhere. Okay, that's too light. Let's try phthalo and yellow.
Isabella needs a refresher on the phthalo blue, red or green?
It's always blue. It's always green shade. Phthalo blue is always green shade. Okay. And if you don't have it in a green shade, then I think I want a little bit of phthalo blue and white. I'm going to add some. I can't stand it. I'm going to add some color to this, you guys. Here, I'm sorry. You knew I couldn't stand it. I have to add some color to this picture.
It has to be that color too.
Yeah, it's got to have a little turquoise in it. I just feel like we needed some. Didn't you think we needed some color in this?
Absolutely. Brighten it up. Cheer it up.
It got, oh, good grief. It got so, I don't know, it was a little boring to me.
T. Bishop would like to know, did Ginger come from an artistry family, or was this a gift she discovered at an early age?
Well, I was adopted, but my adopted mother painted. She took up painting late in her 50s. She was really quite good. And we didn't get along very well, but I probably got more attention from her because I painted, and she encouraged that. I'm going to make a little bit of dark, something around here at the top of this now. This flower, and the same thing here, a little more dark green out of the center. Okay. I want a little dark green here. So, I mean, and she would very nicely, she very nicely got me art supplies. And she didn't, she wasn't very good. She wasn't a particularly good artist when I was young. She got better. Everybody gets better. But that was her hobby. It was her hobby. And so she was very generous in seeing that I had art supplies and stuff, that kind of thing. And I remember when I was a kid, I don't know, I used to go to the dime store. We had something called a dime store. Now they're dollar store. That's the inflation, right? It used to be, same store, it used to be called the dime store, 10 cents. And on Saturdays, we'd take our allowance, and I'd go and I'd buy these little plastic horses and little cowboys and saddles and stuff. And we had teepees and Lincoln logs and Indian villages, and we'd set it all up in the dirt outside. My girlfriends and I would come in and we'd play horses and stuff, after we watched Saturday morning cartoons.
I looked at my Saturday morning cartoons.
And then we watched the Butch Cassidy, Lone Ranger, and Hippo and Cassidy, and the Cisco Kid, and all those. Then we'd go out and we'd play with our ranch set. Well, then my friends were all like a year older than me, and we used to take our stuff, and I'd just take a whole bag of it, like a laundry bag of my stuff, and I'd go over to like Emily Dyke's house, and we'd go play, and at her house, or sometimes she'd come to my house. I mean, this was just, and Tina, her cousin, would come, and this is what we did when we weren't playing with the pony. We did this for years. And then because she was older, there's that age when kids, discover lipstick and makeup and stuff. And Emily was like, in junior high, and I was still, a kid. I was a real kid. Just grew up very late, and she didn't want to do that anymore. It was too baby stuff. She didn't want to play with that anymore. And I had just finally gotten it. They had finally come out with the real Indian teepees, and I don't know, a fort. I had a fort. Remember Rin Tin Tin and all that stuff? And there was a fort, and that's what I'd wanted for Christmas. And I remember I'm so upset that I had somehow didn't want to play that anymore, and I felt like somehow I had been left behind. And I told my mother, I says, I don't want any of that stuff. I just want art supplies now. Don't give me any of those toys. I'm over that. And of course she didn't. She took them all back, and she got me, more art supplies. And then I was really sorry I did that, because I still like that stuff. And I let Emily dictate to me. What a wonderful life lesson. I'm going to put a little green leaf here, right? What a great lesson that was for me. I let somebody else dictate what made me happy because of what they were doing. I learned that young, even though not that I don't like art supplies, right? Here, a little bit of green here. Isn't this looking kind of nice? I think we're about done, you guys. What do you think? You like it?
I think it's looking great.
I mean, I think that's kind of neat for just, for a fast little, tutorial on how to do some nice little flowers. We didn't do anything too crazy. We had some little, dark green flowers coming out here and there.
I think the red background added to it, really.
I like the red background. I think it made a difference. And you can come in here like this with your dark color and break some of this up. If you got carried away, and I know some of you might have, and just lost a bit of your fine lines here, just come back with sometimes there's bugs, bite a little hole in it, Break it up. Doesn't have to be a perfect flower. You could erase just something like that, see? It should be green though, not blue. But anyway, but you could do that. And I give you permission to just go back and make a little bite out of something. You can reshape a leaf if you just didn't quite get it. Okay.
Kimberly's wondering, does Ginger siblings paint?
My sister did not paint. Nobody painted. I was the only artist out of the 5 kids. My brother, who's up, there's only 2 of us left, but my sister never did. And so she could crochet and knit and stuff, but she was never into hobbies. And my brother that looked the most like me, he was a professional potter. And he did ceramics and did beautiful ceramics. He was very artistic, but he didn't paint. And he came to visit me one time, a few years before he died, and he kind of wanted to learn to paint, but I didn't have time to teach him. I think he could have if he'd chosen to do it. He was quite good. So I'm just going to take a moment and sign this. I think that we're kind of done here. Just sort of a ray of fun.
Okay, that means we got another 20 minutes for this painting. Once it's signed.
No, I think we're done. Don't you feel like it's... I like this, don't you? Just sort of this... Now, what you can do, though... Oh, she's going, no. What do you mean what you can do?
See,
for those
as soon
as
as you say that, we're in trouble.
For those of you that are having trouble with the fine lines, remember, you can take... If your paint's dry, you can take one of these pens like this. Okay?
These are a Posca pen.
Posca pens. Okay? And if you were having trouble with it, I'm just showing you could, add a few like that if you felt like you needed to. All right, so there's our painting, and I like this one much better than this one.
Now that we can see it.
Now that you can see both, right? Because we spent a little more time on the lights and the darks. Though I do like some of the purple over in here. But actually, this is fine. I think that we did pretty good with this. I quite like that a lot, and I'm just seeing it now. I know we said we were done. But you never believe me. All right, so now I'm following the light.
You.
So I'm going to take a little white right now. I'm just following that light here, and I'm just going to add a little bit of a white tip to this flower right there. See, just a little white tip. Then I'm going to come right here and just a little there. We're playing with the lights now. We're tricking the eye, playing with the lights. Right like this. There we go. All right. That's all I wanted to do. Just had that one a little bit brighter. Okay. And maybe do a dark. Oh, I know that's right here. But even though that was a flower, maybe that should be a leaf right here like this. Not make that a flower. You can go back and you can erase, It's all right. All right, there. I like that better. And did we put something in the side? Did we do a little dot for that one? Okay, I like it there. See, a much better design, I think, with this one. Sometimes it doesn't hurt to do things a couple of times. Could we do another little flower right here? I'm looking. Do we want one? Maybe. No, that's the thing. What would happen if we just threw in another one now over here like this, right? Does it have to be as bright as the others? We can just suggest a flower right there.
Yeah, back in the shadows.
Just back in the shadows.
Only the shadow knows.
Oh, remember that one too? That was scary, that radio show. So anyway, but basically I always did art. And but that was a wonderful life lesson about not letting somebody else rain on your parade kind of thing.
Martha Rose would like to know, does Ginger know what does it MSA mean on the Golden Gloss Varnish MSA spray? I guess she's asking what does MSA mean. I would go to Golden, and I think it tells you on their website.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless you know.
I have no idea.
Because we don't use a spray varnish.
I don't use a spray varnish.
We use Liquitex.
Yeah, we use Liquitex. All right, so that's my plethora of flowers, you guys. Little white flowers. There it goes. I think that, and I have to say, I like the red background.
I like the red background.
I think the background really, added a lot. And somebody said, what could you do with Cad Red Medium? That's sort of a color surprise, if you had you're not talking about much here. Because it can be a glaze too, Cad Red Medium, just a touch. There. It's interesting to me, even this right here, just barely touch it. A little bit of Cad Red right there. Okay, I'll stop. Could I spend 2 or 3 more hours fooling around with this, painting it 2 or 3 more times? But I think you've got the idea of it. I think it's very nice. I hope you guys enjoyed painting this. And I like the fact that it's just, I think it's a really nice design. We have so many beautiful flower tutorials. And, this is what we did yesterday. And you can see how this same kind of one brush stroke to get the flowers can be very effective. So we're going to do something along that line for our giveaway today. I hope you guys, let's put this here. On my paints, look how pretty my colors are too, the palette. That came out kind of nice.
Pink?
Pink, huh? We got something more neutral?
Mud?
Mud brown. What do you got? What do we got?
Blue.
Oh, this is just really,
Isn't that great green? I did
how
that
about,
specifically for
yeah,
you.
I know. Look at that. All right, that's pretty. All right, let's do this. We'll use that one. We'll use this one. That's pretty. It's kind of oranges and peaches and stuff. That's really pretty. That's pretty. I'll do another little vertical. I'll just do a little vertical of this, all right?
Okay, we got the giveaway going on now. 10-minute giveaway. The somebody has the link. I didn't modify our
So
link.
just wanted to remind everybody we will not do a live show this Sunday. John has surgery on this coming Friday.
At least we don't think we will.
We
At
don't
least
think-
she thinks. I'm going for it.
I know he thinks so, but you know, let's be real here. We're not really going to do that, are we, John?
Yeah, you never know.
Well, we don't know.
What did I say the secret word was, girls? Secret word is spring.
Spring.
I did that because the weather is so weird. Oops, I could be on the other computer.
Yeah, he really did. We've had some very strange weather. It's no offense, it's the Canadians.
But
Their
keep your
bad weather
guys.
comes down to us. We're sorry that you suffered, but I don't know why you keep insisting on giving it to the rest of us. Okay, gets all the way down south, which is sort of interesting to me. I think. This was fun. We sent. Don't be afraid to enter if you live in another country, because we just shipped we will be shipping a painting. Yesterday's winner lived in Canada.
Lived in Canada? I believe they still live there.
Yeah, I guess they do.
I don't think they moved. She
Just
hasn't
to get the price.
contacted me.
No, they live in Canada, and we're sending the painting to Canada. So I don't care if you live in Canada or if you live in where was that
Iceland.
person? Indonesia.
Indonesia.
Don't be afraid to enter. We will still mail it to you. Okay, it might take a month to get there, but you'll get it. You know, we're not talking first class postage overseas, but we'll mail it.
Oh, and I like what Beth said.
What?
John, your whisper will be Ginger's command after the 13th. I'm liking that, Beth.
That's right, right? It will be too, right? Because you'll have all kinds of ideas about what you think might make your life better.
Absolutely.
Well, he's like an invalid. Is invalid kind of like invalid?
Yeah, same idea.
It is, right?
It is.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
let's see if the form's working, so we need to make sure everybody's happy. We want happy people.
Yeah.
Yeah, form's working. I already got 80-some in there.
Oh, it is. All right. So this was fun. And listen, while you're here, here's what I want to do. I know you guys like, I know everybody likes the floral paintings, and me too. Okay. I mean, me too. I like them. But what else? Is there something you would particularly, you're hoping we would paint and we haven't painted? We're always interested in your suggestions. Not saying we'd ever do them, but we love to. It's fun to watch you write stuff, right? Go ahead and write us anyway. Okay. You can leave it and not. You can leave it in the comment sections after the video. And if you haven't liked this video, we're sorry. But if you did like it, the nice thing to do is vote for us by adding a like. That's a good thing. And then put it in your playlist. Okay? Put it in your playlist. That is a very kind, nice thing to do.
A very kind, nice thing. I like that. We are now down to less than 100 people left to go into the Facebook private club.
Yeah.
I just checked the number. We have 99 spots left.
Yeah, which we hope you'll pick if you haven't joined us yet. And I know a lot of people say, I hate Facebook, but what's cool about our club, I got to tell you, what's cool about our club is the fact that what is cool about our club? Well, we have 6 phenomenal moderators.
Cool. It's us. We're there.
Well, we're there, and I comment on your pictures and stuff. If you want to show me what you painted, it's a good way for me to see it. And also, we have 6 volunteer moderators that that vet in the paintings, vet the comments, so nobody says, if somebody starts saying really unkind things to somebody else, we don't allow any kind of words or anything like that. I feel it's a very safe place to put your artwork. Don't you think so, John?
It is very safe. Yes.
I mean, I think that is the big thing about it. It's a very safe place to be able to put artwork. And I think that's really important, is to have some place where you know that that when you put your heart and soul in something, and you felt like you did a good job, but you know someone says, well, you should never paint again, you know, that's enough to just crush people. Okay. And you know, we don't do any people crushing in our on our show. We just don't. We want you to feel like it's an exciting place to visit, someplace you want to see, and even if you don't want to paint and contribute anything, you can always just comment on other people's stuff. Sometimes your comment will make the world of difference. You just can't know what that could mean to somebody. Okay, you don't know, and it really can make a difference. Honestly, I promise you, it really can. All right, so we're going to have to get some more white out here.
Would you like to hear some of the suggestions so far?
Yeah, what's some suggestions? I want to hear them.
Needless to say, a gypsy wagon, and that's not from anybody we know. So.
Oh, are you sure Eric did just bribe someone to say that? Because that sounds like Eric did it.
We'd love to have a train and railroad tracks tutorial. We'd love to have trucks, swans, hydrangeas, more flowers again. Yes, a train, a cityscape, a tractor rusting away in a field. Oh, be quiet, Siri. You don't even know what's going on. Conch shells, jellyfish, octopus, starfish, seahorses. But do it the ginger way. Paint gems.
Oh, like gemstones or something?
Yeah. A jumping dolphin in the moonlight or sunset. Palm trees.
Okay, now if anybody's wanting palm trees, we've got a really nice video on palm trees, several of them on YouTube.
Yeah, we do.
By the way, if you're looking for palm trees, we have such an animal right like that. We absolutely do. Just want to point that out.
You can use the Contact Us form on our website, gingercooklive.gallery, to put in your requests of what you'd like to see. More animals, which we are working on that. We got a series we're going to work on that. But that's probably going to be for the Academy.
Well, we have a wonderful, the Old English Truck. That's on the Academy. You guys seen that one? That's a really cool painting, right? The Old English Truck.
Gypsy Wagon is from a TV show. Huh. I would love a Paris scene with the Eiffel Tower.
We have one on there in snow.
In the snow.
So you guys, you're not up on what we've got, see? But that's okay. It's all right if you didn't know.
A covered bridge. I've heard that one before.
Yeah, covered
Old
bridge.
horses, children, rice fields, the Titanic, a tiger, a German shepherd, portraits, any landscape, a blue heron. What does the Saturday art? Oh, that's Isabel. Yes, a painting of Sammy. Oh, that's a good idea. Horse and buggy. Oh, we have one of those coming.
Yeah, but I don't think it'll be YouTube. The problem is some of these things are, take a little bit longer to paint.
Icebergs. Now, an iceberg. I wonder if you could do an iceberg.
I don't know. I think everybody's kind of sick of.
You would think they'd be sick of snow by now.
Sick of snow by now, right?
I certainly would be.
I'm wondering if the people aren't a little sick.
Musical instruments. Have we done a musical instrument?
We haven't done any music. Well, we did that one abstract guitar, which we had a lot of fun with.
Abstract. We had that one old dead guy had one that we were looking at. But again, that would not be a YouTube. I mean, a lot of these things you guys are asking for are going to be more complex because of how Ginger would want to do it than a YouTube lesson would be able to support.
Okay.
Horse in a field of flowers and a white fence. So that's being very specific. Thank you, Tammy. More lighthouses. Yes to the covered bridge. Statue of Liberty. An old mill. A western covered wagon. An old man. Well, you had the me.
That's on our site.
Oh, that's right. A small version of landscape that is behind Ginger. Okay. People like Degas. Yeah, his was a good one.
Yeah, I like Degas too. I thought the Degas one was really nice. I love Gauguin, but he had so many. A lot of his women didn't have a lot of stuff on, so it was a little harder to paint them, right?
That's a nice way to put it.
Well, I mean, it's not a bad thing. I mean, depending, but oh my gosh, we were looking at
a stormy sky with a tornado.
Do you want to attract that in your life? I wouldn't paint that.
Oh, I would. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever you focus on, you can create. That's sort of a creepy
Niagara
idea.
Falls then. What about that?
Yeah, Niagara Falls,
Can
waterfall.
someone please help me?
Help you what?
Yeah, I'll help you with what? Dragonflies with translucent wings. That'd be a lot of glazing.
I think Angela has some of those. I've got to try to be careful not to do what the other girls are doing, like Angela and Cinnamon.
Yeah.
I try not to cross over into their genre of stuff.
A piano surrounded by flowers.
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
A desert scene. Or dessert scene, depending on if you want to throw another S in there. I'm thinking a nice pie with a little ice cream. Ooh, that sounds good.
Oh, pie.
Ooh, a New Orleans street scene. I would like to do that too.
Yeah, New Orleans. I love New Orleans. Don't you guys? You know, I think
Didn't you
it's
have
so
a tiger
cool.
head you were going to release? We have a. Why don't you show our gal when we're done? Layla.
Yeah.
We have Layla. Layla the leopard is done.
Yeah,
There could
and
be
she's
more in
up.
that series.
Yeah, Layla is definitely done, and yeah, we definitely need more. We need more in that series. We thought we'd do some, other great animals. Just having fun with us, you guys. We're having fun. It's fun little 10-minute painting.
I like the old dead guys. New Orleans, yes. A coral reef. That'd be fun. A view from a window.
Oh, that's a good idea.
A women and men from the 20s.
Interesting.
An old fountain. Lounging by the pool.
We do have a really nice fountain with the wisteria we did.
A graveyard in Poland. Well, we'll have to make a road trip.
A graveyard. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you a funny story about graveyards. Not that there's anything funny about them, but you know what I mean. Some years ago, I took a landscaping class down at Glassell, which is this art school down in Houston, and they had an adult landscaping class, and they were going outside and doing plein air painting. And I thought it would be nice because I think it's kind of creepy to go out by yourself, as a woman. So I thought I could go out with the group. And I was all excited. We were going to find some interesting places in Houston to paint. I was kind of new to Houston. Thought that would be good, right? And what this lady did was she took us to a cemetery. And I really did not want to paint anything in a cemetery.
Oh, I spent a lot of time when I was a photographer in a cemetery.
Yeah, but I mean, who's hanging that? Unless it's somebody you know's grave, you know what I mean? Who's hanging that stuff? You got to think who your audience is, I mean, it's not like you're going to have a lot of people that that are Anne Rice fans, I'm sorry, but it's just
a famous statue. Well, you never know.
But you never know. But but these are good ideas. We're always looking for good ideas, right?
Hey, Monica wants to have elephants.
Elephants.
Ellie would like that.
Elephants. One elephant came out to play all on a fine summer's day. He had such enormous fun that he called on another elephant to come. We used to sing as kids, and then you'd get another person and sing around the circle at camp. Did you ever do that one?
No, I'm afraid not.
You didn't do one elephant. Come
the
out
Badlands
to play.
in South Dakota.
What? The Badlands of South Dakota. Wow, are you from South Dakota? You're asking these questions?
I'm not. No, I'm sorry.
I know you're not, John.
Seashells.
Seashells. Oh, that's nice.
How about a monkey? We have our chimpanzee face, and that's available for download.
Oh, wait, show that, John. Can you get that real quick?
Real quick. What constitutes real quick in your book?
I don't know. Something.
Something constitutes real quick.
Yeah, something constitutes real quick. That's what I say you should say, old boy. Get that real quick.
Say, old boy.
Oh.
One of my favorite guys. I need to shellac him. I think I will.
I'm having fun with this. I haven't decided what I'm having fun with this painting. It's just sort of taken a life of its own with this.
Well, let me bring Layla over for you, too. I'll have to back that before you do that one, though.
With this background, like this. There we go.
Now, what did I miss? These are great suggestions. The Yellow Rose of Texas. The Stone Fountain with Flowers. The Great Lakes. Chop Chop John. Oh, yeah, that's me. What do you mean no monkeys? What's wrong with monkeys? A sea turtle underwater.
We have that, didn't we? Don't we?
Underwater?
I thought we did.
That's an old one.
An old one.
Fields. A Native American baskets. Yes.
All right,
please
here's
do so.
here's our chimpanzee, you guys.
Well, let me back out a little bit.
Okay, there's our chimpanzee.
Isn't he cute?
And that's a downloadable lesson. It's just only in our downloadable library. And I love him. I think he's so cool. Here's our chimpanzee. Cinnamon has dibs on that painting. She said she wanted.
What, the chimpanzee?
Yeah, she wanted that. I think we did that some time ago, right?
Yeah, a long time ago. Well, that means you have to do another one, or I'll have to learn how to do it.
I don't know. She'll probably change her mind. She's got so many paintings of her own now. What on earth would she do with that?
Yeah.
She just liked it. I think it was, she just liked it.
Tropical fish.
Well, we have a few of those.
Castle on the moor with a knight. Ooh, I like that, on a horse.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. A hamster. I don't think so. You want to do a hamster?
I don't think so.
Mount Fuji.
Mount Fuji's I actually saw Mount Fuji. Did you know that?
Do you have a picture of it?
No. Well, yeah, probably I do in those old files from.
Oh,
Colby,
here we go. Here's somebody that's bringing up something that I've been asking you to do. More fabric like the apple with the green and white fabric.
Yeah?
I mean, yeah. I wanted that one big and you haven't done it yet.
Well, right? We should do that for sure. All right, I'm going to call this done. I think I had a little bit of fun with this. I hope you guys had fun watching this.
It looks very tropical. Very tropical colors.
It is kind of tropical, isn't it?
Hey, we love all your suggestions, and they will stay up there on Facebook, and we can scroll back through them at any time, and you can too, because the chats now stay with the videos.
Careful what you say.
Careful what you say.
Careful what you wish for. Okay, well, a little flowers going off like that. All right, so there we go. I'm liking these flowers, you guys.
A white golden lab. I've never seen a white golden lab. They're usually golden. Well, we have 315 entries. We'll be closing that off shortly. This is your last call to get in on this wonderful painting, a Ginger Cook original, mailed anywhere on planet Earth.
That's right. Anywhere you want.
And planet Earth.
Mail it on planet Earth, not Mars, but if you're on planet Earth,
we can get it to you.
We can get it to you, right?
Fran would like to have a German Shepherd. Two Peking ducks walking down a farm road.
Oh.
That's being very specific.
Yeah, as opposed to mallard ducks. Because they're different.
Yes, they are. They're peeking. I'm not sure what they're peeking at, but they're going to be peeking at something.
I think it's Peking.
I think so.
All right, you guys, that's it. I think I'm kind of done here.
We need 4 thumbs up. Why do we need 4 thumbs up?
4 thumbs up for what?
I'm not sure. Okay, last entry. Is there a place where I can preview the downloadable lessons? Yes. GingerCookOnDemand.com. We have 724 people on the line currently.
Really?
Yes. Well,
this is great fun, right?
Yes.
I'm having a little fun with all these colors. You got
a sky full of starlings.
Oh, the starlings are cherry eaters.
Or what?
When my adopted uncle had a cherry farm in Yakima, Washington, and they would put these nets out around to try to catch the starlings that ate all the cherries.
You do not have to log in to see the downloadable lessons. Wendy just put the link in there. GingerCookOnDemand.com.
Yeah, no, you don't, right? You do not have to download,
You don't have to even have a membership on that one.
Nope, you can see them. You certainly can see them.
You can. All right. What did Ginger think of Cinnamon's thank you note?
Oh, Ginger, I think, commented on this last night. Cinnamon and I talked about it. I said, I was very touched by it, but I said, what did you suddenly have? My daughter's very psychic. And I says, all right, fess up. You got some sort of vision that I'm croaking next week and you want to be sure to get this in, right? And she goes, no, I promise. I says, so, I really did appreciate it, but I was very curious to what was the genesis of this, right? You could appreciate that, right? I said, What was the genesis of this, your note? This beautiful note that you wrote. And she said she had 2 friends who had lost their parents recently and had not told them how they felt. And she suddenly had this feeling that she should tell me. She said she thought it was very important to tell your loved ones how much you appreciated them while they were still alive. which I thought
That's
was very
nice.
nice, which is a very nice thing. And, you know, so we kind of had a, you know, and I talked to her and told her how much I appreciated her too, you know. So those are some of the things. I mean, I thought that was very nice. Yeah.
A portrait of Ginger to match John's.
Portrait of Ginger would want my portrait. I thought
I would.
Oh, you would?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
A fashion show with models on the catwalk. I don't think so, Becky.
No, that's not what we do, but that's good. All right, Becky, I'm signing this. This is it. I hope this was
That's
fun.
it.
It sort of kind of went with the lesson today, didn't it? Kind of a little bit. It just sort of felt like it, you know,
Well,
kind of on the theme.
they can't see squat when you do that. You have to give a guy a warning if you're going to do things like that.
All right, let me just throw this out of the way. Here.
There
I
we
think
go.
it kind of, can you do that?
I can do this. I got it zoom
Does
back
it sort of,
out.
I mean, this is a light background.
I
This
gotta
sort of
do
looks like a Mother's Day
this.
card, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
It says that, you know, if you wrote up Happy Mother's Day across the top, wouldn't that sort
Your
of
screen's
feel
going
like
to blank
that?
out for a brief second. Don't freak out, people. Deal with it. We are.
What?
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and draw it. We've got 327 entrees.
Do we?
Well, at least that's what it says now. It's usually a couple more after I actually grab them all.
Okay. Okay.
And I've grabbed them all. 328.
All right, this was great fun. This towel sort of had it. Got more paint on me than I have on the towel.
I find that hard to believe.
Look at that. Just see how one is filled with towel.
Alexa, pick me a number between 1 and 328.
Your random number between 1 and 328 is 247.
247.
Stopping.
247.
247. All right. Who's that?
I know who it is.
Do you? Are you going to share it with us, or are we just all going to be here in suspense?
I'm going to be the only one who's going to keep
Here's
it.
my little tub of towels. If somebody's wanting to know, they do not pay me to say this. I just love these things, and
We need to write them and say, look, people.
they should just send me these towels because I mean, look at this. When I get all through at the end, this just takes all the paint off. And if you're one of those sock folder people, it'll take the paint off your chair and the stuff that you got on 3 months ago somewhere.
I
You
like
need
it.
up. John loves it. I even have it in the bathroom, so if I miss something in the shower, like for instance, like right here,
Comes off weeks
it comes
later.
off and it doesn't leave my skin all yucky.
Vicky Gross is the winner. Congratulations, Vicky. Please use the contact us and send us your mailing address.
Yes, somebody wrote us yesterday. They won something, and they didn't give us their address, and we said, "Well, this is good. We're glad you won. Where would you like us to send it?" So we appreciate all the suggestions. We appreciate the fact that you've all subscribed to our channel and
we know that you have.
We know that you have. I don't even think I have to ask you because you would. Who wouldn't want to subscribe to this marvelous channel?
I'm telling you.
Check us out on some of these back things that we've done. We've got some great ones on different things. I want to just mention again, this has had a chance to dry a little bit. You can kind of see the difference in the backgrounds.
Provided I move it around.
Can you move this around
No,
like this? Like this? You moving the camera? Yeah.
I'm moving the camera.
So this was what I started with. This is the one I did today, which I like ever so much better.
Ever so much better.
And I think I like the red background.
I do like the red. I think it adds more to it.
Yeah.
I think it gives it the warmth that it needs.
Yeah, and so then here is yesterday we painted this pink over this green background. That was yesterday's. Right?
And that works.
And that sort of that green background. And these ones we haven't painted anything on them, but these ones, this one I think was over what was that over? Kind of a light green.
That was a dark green.
Oh, this was the dark green, right? This was the dark green background, and this was sort of the lighter green. It looks similar.
No, the other way around.
You think so?
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah, maybe this was the lighter green. Yeah, because you can see some of the lighter green.
Yeah.
See in here showing through.
The lighter color's
So
coming
the
through.
lighter color was kind of prettier, wasn't it?
Yep.
Because some of it shows through. So these are just little subtle stuff. People say, I don't know how you quite got that color because, no two paintings will ever quite be the same. But this was our lesson for the day. I hope you guys like it. Please check out our website, gingercooklive.gallery, and check out our auction if you like, gingercookauction.com. And we got the puzzles too. You know, we got those puzzles up, all kinds of neat things.
Why don't you show?
Do we have a puzzle? Oh, Lola. What? Who? Oh, Layla. Layla. Should you back up? Can you see it? This was one of the. Someone asked about. This is one of the lessons on our website, 16 by 16.
Let me see where. Oh, she's huge. Let me back her up some.
Yeah, I thought so. You know, don't you love the eyes on this?
Very
really,
expressive.
just love the eyes on this picture. And John's backing her up.
Yeah.
So someone asked about animals and stuff. We got all kinds of animals on our website, cats and dogs and all
We're going
kinds
to do
of
a
stuff.
whole
And
series
horses.
with the 16 by 16.
16. I think we'll do a series of these, so you could have like a, you know, Layla and, you know, maybe a tiger and, you know, some other stuff. Okay. This is a leopard, and John kept pointing out in the whole video. He says, well, he doesn't talk in my videos, but afterwards when he was editing, he says, why did you keep calling this a snow leopard? I don't know, because, well, of course I know it's not a snow leopard.
But you go, this looks like a snow leopard. This
did,
must be a
did you
snow
get
leopard.
this? Did you back up enough? You got this,
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah. They see
Everybody
it.
saw that, right?
Yeah, yeah, they're tired of it.
Now, all right, so again, here's a couple of our puzzles that we put on our auction. This one is, this is one of my favorite all-time, most licensed pieces of anything. I've got a tapestry downstairs that was at the original has, you know, was sold in California for like 15 grand for the original, I think. 36 by 48 is what it sold for. And
36 by, that's a big one. 3 foot by 4 foot.
No, it's 36. No, it's 48 by 60. That's how big this was.
48
by
5
60.
foot.
It was really big. All right. And this was another one I really liked too. This is a town in hotel in Collioures, France, and that was from my trip to France. And so these are these puzzles are on. We put one of each puzzle on the auction. So everybody likes puzzles. Kind of cool.
GingerCookAuction.com. They run through May 5th and 6th. You have to look at them each of them ends separately.
Yeah, we discovered early on that you don't want all the auctions to end at the same time, because if someone wants 2 or 3 paintings, they can't manipulate that, right?
Yeah, it was harder for them.
So we have them ending at different times to make sure you know when your auction ends.
Okay, so are we done?
We're done. Bye. Thank you.
Just like that? We're done?
No.
Bye? See ya. Thanks for coming.
That's how I hang up the phone. But I suppose one could sit there and say that it's Monday, and I know that you just got off a fabulous weekend, and I hope you have a fabulous week, and we look forward to seeing what you've painted and posted on our Facebook page. Bye, guys.
And thank you for all the well wishes. Ginger, I'm sure will let everybody know if I survived.
Yeah, because if John doesn't survive, this will be the last broadcast. You know that, right?
I hope you enjoyed it.
I hope you liked it. If there's no John, there's no Ginger. Just so you know. So it's hopefully it'll all be fine, and we'll.
It'll be hunky dory.
It'll be hunky dory, as they say. So,
who's they that says that one?
We used to say that, hunky dory.
I don't remember.
Well,
okay, enough of that foolishness. Bye, all. Say goodbye. The mic's still on.
Bye. I said goodbye.
Well, say it again.
Well, I'm going to say it again. Did I say goodbye?
They can't see you anymore.
Oh.
I've turned that off.
Oh, but it's just this mingling voices of you whining about me saying
mingling voices where
goodbye,
I'm trying to find the rest of the stuff to turn off.
Bye.
All right, here we go. Now we can do the cue up the exit there, Sammy. You got a cue, buddy? All right, we're out of here.
Bye.
I'm a student, I say with glee, of Ginger Cook's Academy. Take your time and do not rush. Use ruby satin, silver brush. Don't use black and mix the green. Learn what blend and grayscale mean. Yes, I hope each day to earn coaching praises as I learn. I'll be an artist, wait and see. Ginger means the world to me.